Welcome everybody. So this is the oceanic flight toward the west coast. There is nothing special. We do a normal takeoff and we do as we know.
I had a crazy dream that you accepted to share with me. And I'm extremely thankful because it's not obvious that something so crazy can motivate so many people. And having a plane like that, I know what I owe you, André.
I think you realize that you have a fantastic team behind you. You also have an airplane, I'm sure, which will not let you down. You will partner with him to get to your destination. One big challenge for you, which is going to be difficult, I'm sure, for you to decide to come down. But everybody is waiting for you on the other side, and everybody is wishing you a fantastic moment. The wind has been picking up a little bit more than what we have forecasted. So for the time being, we will wait a little bit in the hangar as the airplane is better protected, and we'll see is the wind slowing down, increasing, and we'll decide afterwards when to go out, how to go out, and potentially if we go out. I would say last moment to go out is fine. What I propose is that we will monitor the wind the next 15 minutes, and then we'll decide after the 15 minutes we go or we don't go.
Ouais, very good. Merci André. À toutes.
I'm here now on the wind station, and it's between 6 and 8 since at least 5 minutes. Nothing more than 8 knots. I think we should go out. Okay.
Departure at old risk, runway 04 right.
Solar Pulse. Hello, Captain Piccard. Where are you now flying?
I speak to you from the cockpit of Solar Impulse in the middle of the Pacific, flying on solar power, only, no fuel. You know, Mr. Secretary General, what you are doing today in New York, signing the Paris Climate Agreement, is more than protecting the environment. It is the launch of the clean technology revolution, but there is so much resistance everywhere. So be pioneers, be adventurers, be explorers of the solutions of today. This is how we can make a better world. Don't let the resistance take over, because we have the solutions. And if an airplane can come, like Solar Impulse, can fly day and night without fuel, the world, of course, can be much cleaner.
I inspired by your pioneering spirit. And while you are making history, we have also made the history today. More than 175 countries signed the climate change agreement. And thank you for your leadership and inspiration. And I thank you very much. All the best to you. Bon voyage.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, and congratulations for what you are doing. The world will remember it. You are a pioneer also.
Good afternoon, Bertrand. It is an honor for Switzerland that we have you as a pioneer, and the entire world is looking at you and your fantastic project. And it gives us a lot of hope that something is possible. Clean technologies are the future. And I think it's the most inspiring project since the flight to the moon, but with solar energy, renewable energy, with a lot of efficiency. That's what we need to prove it is possible to make a change. So have a safe flight back to Europe, to your home country, Switzerland. We are proud of you.
Thank you, Doris. Thank you. And you know, they were astronauts going to the moon, and today they are heads of states making a better world. This is the message. Better quality of life. This is the new adventure of the 21st century. Congratulations for what you're doing, and good luck.
That's the sunrise I would remember all my life.
Regarde-moi ça, et ça c'est la précision, hein? Look at this. This is unbelievable.
Personal for me, it's the proof that the perseverance and the faith in the last 17 years was worth it.
Welcome back to Solar Impulse TV, live from the Mission Control Center in Monaco. My name is Kari Lundgren, and it is a pleasure to welcome you back. Well, I think you will agree those were some amazing images from the crossing of the Pacific from Kalealoa Airport to Moffett Airfield, but the adventure continues in about 3 hours' time. André Borschberg and Solar Impulse 2 will be taking off from Moffett Airfield en route to Phoenix. Very exciting. It will be about a 17-hour flight, so a little bit shorter than the last one from Hawaii, but still lots to bring to you. And we will start with some of the live feed from Moffett Airfield, and I will be back in about 2.5 hours time, so about a half an hour before takeoff for the takeoff show. See you then. Welcome back to Solar Impulse TV, live from the Mission Control Center in Monaco. I have Mike here. He's one of our fabulous mission engineers, also known as Oxy Mike. And I thought it was a good chance to talk with him because some of you may have seen the images of André getting dressed. And Mike knows all about what's going on with the pilot in terms of how they prepare. So, Mike, give me a sense of what he's putting on right now and what he needs to get prepared to get in the cockpit.
Okay, well, just to put it in perspective, he's got to get dressed. He's got to get ready to go into the cockpit. So he has just a base layer. It's like kind of sports compression clothing. He has some thrombosis socks. So he'll put all his base layer on. He's got like it's almost like tights, tight top, and then he has to put on a whole bunch of
thrombosis socks. So those are like socks you might use after running or something.
It's really strong compression socks which are against thrombosis. So if he's stagnant or in the cockpit without movement for a long period of time, you want to increase the pressure in your legs so that you have the blood circulating so you don't get blood clots. And if we do long flights, he's going to do I think a 15-hour flight today. It's best to be, especially when you go higher with lower pressure, to have the anti-thrombosis socks. Then he's going to get himself kind of bionic. He's going to connect all the electrical wires and cablings. So here you can see him. He's putting his socks on now. He's got his compression clothing. So it's very good because it helps breathe. It's wicking. It takes the moisture away from the body. It's quick drying, and there's also I think some antimicrobial treatment to the clothing so that when you wear it for several days or a long time, it doesn't smell. You don't have a lot of bacteria developing, so it's more comfortable for the pilot. We have our equipment specialists on site, Daniel Ramsire here, who's setting him up and making. He takes care of everything with another colleague, Catherine. And they make sure he has everything he needs. They take care of all of his survival gear, check it before every flight. So he's gonna put his first layer on now. He's gonna get his socks up. They're tough to put on because they're really tight. And then he's gonna put all of his electrical cables on. So he's outfitted with a bunch of sensors and things which beep and buzz and record and connect him to the airplane. So he'll have to pass those through all of his clothing. There's little Velcro attachments you can see going up the legs here, and he'll kind of connect himself so that he's ready to be attached to the airplane and be able to be informed if something's going on, what's happening.
And some of those sensors are things like, I mean, they're basically testing there so you can know what his oxygen level is and health. And
Exactly. So first he needs audio. He needs to have his microphone plugged in for when he's wearing his helmet or headset. So there's a plug for that. Then he has to have his headset so that he can listen. So he has the headset that has a plug also. Then he has these cuffs that are made by Omega, which go on his sleeves, and that's a tactile warning for him. So if something goes wrong in the airplane, they'll start to buzz.
Yeah,
and
so that's part of the stabilization and augmentation system and the monitoring and alert system.
Yeah, if anything goes wrong when he's resting or when he's flying the airplane, it tells him he's gone outside of an envelope of the operation of the SAS, and then he'll be warned about that. So it's a tactile warning. And then he also has for his blood saturation on his forehead actually. Sorry. So it's a sensor which he puts on his forehead, and it monitors what his oxygen level is at. So if he goes too low in oxygen, then it'll also trigger a warning in the aircraft. I think that's about it. He has heated gloves, so it gets really cold when he goes high in altitude. It can get to minus 20 in the cockpit because the cockpit's protected. I mean, it can be minus 40 outside. So he has some degree of comfort from that regard, but the extremities are always the areas which get cold first. So he has in his boots, it heats, and in his gloves, you can turn on a heater, so he can keep his extremities warm and keeps his hands good for controlling the airplane. So here you can see he's putting on the Omega cuffs. And it's a little Velcro. It goes around the sleeve, and you'll see the cable.
Almost like a heart monitor or something.
It's like one of these sense wears that you wear for sports, and it's a special design from Omega for us. And it's just basically something that's going to vibrate on his right or left, depending on I think which bank angle he has too much, and if the autopilot kicks out, I think he'll get a warning there. And in general, I think any major warning, he'll get a noise in the cockpit. He'll get a light, which will go on, and then the associated light to the warning. So if it's battery, it'll be a battery light. And then he'll have a tactile. So those will start to vibrate. And you can see here he has this cable harness, which groups all of these electrical cables coming into the pilot. And it ends with like a plug. So we have to kind of integrate that into his clothing. And then the plug will have to come out, and he'll plug it actually into his parachute. So it goes into his parachute and then into the back of the seat. So he's kind of connected to the airplane. And it's a bit tricky because if ever he has to leave the airplane, he's got all of these electrical devices which are plugged into him, which he needs. They're important interfaces. And it can also be his oxygen mask as well. So we have to make sure that when he leaves, everything breaks away. So we have special couplings in a specially defined area in the bottom of the seat that when he turns and he wants to jump out, as he stands up and he starts to put enough force on it, it'll tear away the electrical couplings, and then as he moves with his head, it'll break away the oxygen hoses. So then he's free of all connections to the airplane, and he can go out. And it's a bit special because, I mean, the parachute, to maximize his comfort, it's built into the back of the seat. He's got an inflatable cushion over that, so he doesn't really feel it's there, but he's wearing it at all times. And he can kind of move around, and he can be flexible in the cockpit, do his exercise. But he's always safe, so he always has everything he needs.
And this is kind of it's sort of an important time for the pilot, is all the different gear getting on, somebody helping, but it's also kind of his last moment of kind of peace before he gets into that. I guess this doesn't look like peace, does it?
Yeah, I can imagine it's an important moment because he's got a lot of people around him. He's trying to get focused to get his gear on and get ready for the flight, but he's kind of leaving the civilian world and getting ready to go fly a solar airplane. Got to make sure that he's comfortable. He's got his equipment. Each pilot has some little personal items that they prefer, whether it's clothing or special gloves. I think André has a special pair of leather gloves that he's flown with for many years, and he likes to wear those.
Something lucky there, I guess.
And I think right about now he's pretty much suited up, and he can just basically get in the cockpit, put on the parachute, plug himself in, and then he's ready to go.
What about, we're not seeing any of the sort of the mountain gear that he would, does he have that in the cockpit to put on later?
Yeah, exactly. So it's designed to be easy, that he can get suited up with his basic first few layers, and then he can go into the cockpit, put on the parachute for the warmer, because it's probably around 20-something degrees there. So it's too hot to be wearing the mountain gear. And as he climbs in altitude, then when it starts to get colder in the ambient air and then in the cockpit, then he goes back, he has stored in the cockpit like mountaineering jackets, some mountaineering pants, and they have zippers and openings. So it's kind of like a progressive. It's designed to be functional through layers. So you can take off, you can put on, and you can adapt to the changing environment you have in the cockpit, which is pretty extreme.
Excellent. Well, I think we're actually going to be chatting to André in a few seconds' time. It looks like he's just getting, we've got our cameraman there, you can see. We can ask him what he was eating for breakfast. I think that was the, we both...
Well, yeah, I didn't mention that. So the pilot's going to eat something before takeoff, and then when he gets in the plane, he has also his meal from Nestle, from the Nestle Research Center, and it's specifically designed for the flight. So I think later in the morning, it's really early, it's early morning there, I think, locally. So around like 7 or 8 in the morning, he'll get hungry again. He'll have his breakfast cereal made by Nestle. And then he has a lunch planned, and then his dinner. So you have to kind of go through your whole day and your whole plan. It's really a special life in there.
Before long, he'll be in Phoenix having some nachos or something. Or I should, maybe Tex-Mex, I'm not sure. André, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I can. Hi, Kerry, how are you?
I'm good. How are you
Can
feeling?
you hear me as well?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, wonderful. Feeling great. Getting ready. It's a little bit cold here. It's let's say chilly. It's not cold. And I'm dressing outside, so we take a layer off and we put the next layer back as soon as possible to stay warm.
Well, Oxy Mike and I were watching.
But everything is in preparation. You can see that I have a lot of cables around me. Huh?
Oxy Mike and I were watching you earlier have breakfast, and we want to know what you were having for breakfast.
Or something light, we call it in French bircher muesli. So it's yogurt, some fruits, and some cereals there. Just the right stuff to start the early morning. And a cup of tea, which is here. You know, you need something warm because it's cold here.
And tell me, you've had a busy week in the Bay Area. What have been some of the most interesting visits during your stay?
You know, we had an interesting moment where we are working on what next with our technologies, with what we have developed, integrated into this airplane. And Silicon Valley is really a very special environment. You meet fantastic people, sometimes crazy people, but certainly, you know, all very innovative. So I think it was not only interesting, but we had discussions which certainly lead to some very concrete future thoughts, future projects. So I guess it was not by accident that we landed here. We had little chance, in fact, to be able to make it to Moffett because of the winds, because of the weather conditions. So I tell you, it's not by accident that we arrived here. This week was very important.
And tell me, this is your first mission flight of 2016. How does it? Are you excited to be back in the air?
Yeah, it's a great feeling to get back to this airplane because last time it was the 5 days, 5 nights flight, and it's not an airplane anymore. It's almost a partner. So it's like seeing and meeting an old friend, and I'm looking forward because I have the entire day with this friend. So I think it's going to be special again.
And we've got some questions for you from people who are watching. And let me just pull them up. I should have them right here, unless you need to go. But actually, yes.
Okay. Can you have one second?
Yes, 1 second. Well,
just 1 second, and I'll be with you.
You could see while he was talking to you, Daniel was routing the cables into his first layer and getting them all suited up so that he's ready to connect to the airplane when he gets in.
Excellent. We've got Andre. We've got a question for you from Don Rainsbarger. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he wants to know, how do you think your flight will have an impact on future aviation?
I think you have to realize that we are at the beginning. It's the time of the pioneer. So if you compare with traditional aviation, you know, we are in the early 20s where pioneers were able to cross countries, starting to cross oceans for the first time alone in the cockpit. So that's where we are. But it's clear that some of the technologies we have will be integrated simply because of energy efficiency. If you think about electric propulsion, I mean, it provides so many great advantages that it's clear it will make its way in airplanes. Of course, there will be improvement. Maybe we start with general aviation for the first application in a few years. You know, light transportation aircraft can be very silent. You know, you can have an airplane landing at night in an airport, not disturbing or disturbing very little compared to the existing airplane. So there are a lot of advantages that will push these technologies. I mean, aviation needs something disruptive. It will come. It's on the roadmap of these companies, and you know, I hope that this project, in fact, at least shows that what people believed was impossible is possible.
And we have a question from Lily, which is Lily wants to know when you are going to come see her.
Well, shit. I'm sorry I didn't get the question. I just lost my earphone. But to get dressed and keep the earphones is not something straightforward. I tell you, it needs a little bit training. But keep going.
It's a question from Lily, which is she wants to know when you are going to come see her, and maybe you can tell us who Lily is.
Yes, I mean, go ahead. I'm not sure I understood the question. Where we'd come to see her, you mean?
Lily, I think it's your new granddaughter. She wants to know when you're going to come see her.
Ah, Lily. Lily, yes, of course. But I didn't get I heard Louis. So, Lily, yes, of course. You know, I'm really sad that I'm still here in this part of the world and not being able to go back to my daughter. She gave birth a few days ago of a fantastic little beautiful granddaughter for me, and of course it will be a great gift. So I'm rushing now east, today's first step, and hopefully you know, I'll be able to get home and take her in my arms and give her big kisses. So that's on my personal roadmap.
And Stuart Convery, he wants to know, how do you stay focused during a flight?
Big kisses to Lily if she watched me, but could you say again?
Stuart Convery, and he wants to know, how do you stay focused during a flight?
You know, the flights are long, so you have to balance your time between knowing when you need attention and when you can relax. And it's interesting because, of course, you can relax, but you always keep, in fact, an eye on the instrument. So I do quite a lot of short meditation when the flights are long. Helps me just to you know, to cool down and to slow down the brain. And when it needs attention, when it needs focus, if something special happens, I can very quickly go back to the systems, to the airplane itself. So it's to find the right balance between keeping the energy and also finding ways to relax. And you can plan part of it, and part of it, I mean, you take the advantage of, you know, when you have a little relaxed moment, take the advantage and the opportunity to slow down your mind and your body.
And Andre, this is my last question for you, which is, I think yes, it's from Josh Blunchley, and he says, hello, Andre.
Yes.
My brother wants to know whether the Solar Impulse 2 can fly forever, and he also wishes you good luck on the next leg.
Yeah, thank you very much. Forever, it depends how you define it, but we could fly 5 days, 5 nights. When I flew, I could have continued this flight, certainly for a few more days. So it's interesting, it opens the door to something completely different. But of course, alone in the cockpit, it's very difficult to make your life sustainable. But it shows that it's feasible. The next step certainly will be to have 2 people in the cockpit. So now we have the technology to almost to fly, he says forever, but let's say for a long period of time. So it's a new paradigm. So that's something extraordinary, and we'll certainly continue developing these technologies. I think most important is to understand that to make it happen and to make it possible, we have an aircraft which is extremely energy efficient, and this efficiency effect is the key. But it's the key to everything. I mean, if we reduce energy consumption also, you know, at home and on the ground, it will solve major questions we have about energy supply today. But of course, in the air, what it gives is the unlimited endurance. So I tell you, it's a gift. When you fly such an airplane, it's a great pleasure.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Andre. We will let you continue getting ready, and we look forward to seeing you in the cockpit soon.
Yeah, je suis pas que le bon. Yes, great pleasure. Nice talking to you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, Carrie.
On n'est pas bon là.
No?
Non, ça part dans tous les sens.
D'accord, bon.
Excellent. I don't think, hopefully he can't hear me anymore. Oh, good. Okay. But I'm still here with Otzi Mike. And we've got a question from Anita Loricella. And she wants to know, does Solar Impulse use an automatic pilot?
Yeah, well, we Okay, autopilot, automatic pilot, we have something we call the stability augmentation system. So it offers the pilot the ability to let go of the controls, lay down in his seat, relax, close his eyes, and if he's courageous enough, sleep. And it will take care of piloting the airplane and making sure that everything's okay. And there's a system which, of course, is going to monitor that. And if ever anything happens, we saw him getting ready with all of his wires and cables on him. There's these Omega cuffs, which if something happens with if there's turbulence, for example, and then the plane starts to turn too much, then he'll get a warning, a loud buzzer will go off, a light will turn on, and then all of a sudden his arms will start to vibrate. So we do everything to make sure that then once he's asleep, he gets woken up and he can take control of the airplane
And they've
again.
done lots of training for that as well in the simulation to show how quickly they can react. They can react within seconds, right?
Yeah, each of them had to prove that they were able to react and get back to the controls from lying down, fully asleep, exhausted, and grab the controls, take control of the airplane again.
And actually, one thing we should probably mention is they won't be doing any napping as they cross the United States, right? But they will be using the different systems, but they won't be napping.
Yeah, they won't be sleeping. They can kind of recline the seat. They'll be using the stability augmentation system, the autopilot a lot. They use it because it gives them kind of flexibility in the cockpit. They can eat. They still need to do exercise. They still need to kind of live inside the cockpit, use oxygen, change their clothes. So it gives them a big level of flexibility to do that. So yes, they will use it a lot, but no sleeping over the U.S. So.
Lots of people on the ground, I'm sure, will be interested to hear that one. David Bearclaws, and he wants to know if there's any specific reasons for wearing red and orange jackets on the ground.
So I think for the ground crew, there is definitely a very important reason that they're visible. That everybody on an airport, you have to wear a visible yellow vest so that people can see you. Any maintenance personnel, the pilots, they have these special pilot jackets. They were designed specially, I think, from one of our suppliers in Italy, and I think they pop. They look good. They get the message out for the project name. It kind of identifies them from the rest of the team, and they're also functional. They help them kind of regulate their temperature when they're in the cockpit.
And actually, now I think we might have a chance to speak to Bertrand Piccard, who is the co-founder of Solar Impulse and also the other pilot. He was the one who completed the Pacific leg from Hawaii to Moffett Airfield. I think he might be available, but and the plane is coming out in the background. Maybe.
Yeah, this is really cool because you can see it's leaving the mobile hangar. So they literally put up this hangar within a matter of 6 hours, and then they completely enclose the airplane, and it can still allow the airplane to charge. And now they've dismantled half of the mobile hangar, and you can see that the team's crab walking the airplane out. So they're moving it along its side. You have people at each gondola on the extremities, securing the airplane because it still can tip. It's like a bicycle. It has a wheel in the front and a wheel in the back. So you still need to make sure that it's balanced. You don't want the wing to fall down. You don't want too much wind to kind of lift up the wing. And you have a full team around the airplane to secure, to make sure there's no obstacles, nothing coming. You have guys on the ground measuring the wind so that it's within our limits so that the airplane doesn't get...
This is the issue that cropped up in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, it's a big wing. It can blow away quite easily if we get too much wind. So
bigger than a 747.
Yeah, it's a huge surface to be able to put all those solar cells on it. So it comes with you have to be careful when you're in a windy area that you have such a big wing.
I think people might be interested as to how it can go sideways, but it can go all sorts of different directions, can't it?
Yeah, well, they have in the back here a ground handling jig, which allows they take it under the wheel, and then they can control the airplane from the back, which is important if you need to kind of redirect it towards which way the wind's coming. You need to do a turn. They can manipulate in the back, so you'll see people kind of walking it along like a trolley. And then they also have a ground handling jig here, which they bolt on over the landing gear wheel. And the landing gear is designed in a way that it can be decoupled so it can swivel. So they can turn its angle and move it around. And then before flight, I think they pop it back into place.
So something that I think maybe if those who are watching from Hawaii may notice, it looks like there's no more outriggers.
Yeah, the outriggers for the ocean flights were removed.
Which is the third set.
So it's like a tricycle. So if you have your bicycle, you have your training wheels, the outriggers give it an autonomy so that it can taxi on its own. It doesn't need the full ground crew.
Excellent. And I think maybe Bertrand...
Can I make one last comment about the color of the jackets? It's also so that we can find them and we can see them, that if they have to leave the airplane, that they're bright and that they stand out.
That's a good point. You don't want to lose your pilot.
Yeah, so they're visible.
Everybody understands. It's the spirit of pioneering of new clean technologies. And we have had a really great time here. So it's a little bit hard to leave, but I think we're really looking forward to continue. And André will explain you why. He will sit in that cockpit, take the plane to Phoenix, and it's the beginning of this new part of the adventure.
Good morning to everyone. You know, I don't think we came here by accident. When we were in Hawaii, of course, we had to take into account the winds, the weather, where we would get enough sun, in fact, to recharge the batteries. And when you look at the weather pattern, we thought we would be pushed more towards the south, maybe even to Mexico. Our dream was to come back here to Moffett, because that's also where we were 3 years ago. And as Bertrand said, I mean, that's a fascinating place to every entrepreneur or pioneer. So I don't think it was by accident. I would even say, you know, some serendipity was in this flight. Why? Because you know what you see here behind this airplane, in fact, is full of new ideas, technologies, and we are starting to work on what next. And of course, you know, is there any better place to think, to talk about what next than the Silicon Valley? And I think it opened up a lot of very interesting discussions, not only discussions, but potential projects or real projects. So we are, on the one side, of course, very focused to finish this flight around the world, and on the other side already working on the next generation. Maybe a little bit too early to talk about it, but I think this week was and it will be very important for the future of Solar Impulse. So now, crossing the United States, it's a little bit different than crossing the oceans. And you know, each flight you do is another challenge. Over the water is very much about energy. We had to fly many days, many nights with Bertrand, and of course the goal is to have enough energy to keep being able to continue. And here we will not do it in one go, because you really have separate situations in this country that you know certainly better than I do. We choose to go south and not over the Rockies to avoid big thunderstorms which develop normally in the afternoon. We'll have to cross afterwards the central part of the United States pretty fast, because that's where we have tornadoes and all these weather situations which can be, of course, very nasty for an airplane like ours. And then aiming on the third part, aiming for the East Coast towards New York. So we know we flew here over the Golden Gate when Bertrand came from Hawaii. It was the point of entry into mainlands coming from the ocean. And our next iconic place will be the Statue of Liberty, so we hope that we'll be able to bring this airplane there as well. But first leg now, Phoenix. We'll alternate afterwards with Bertrand towards JFK. We don't know yet all the different stops. Will depend on the weather, as usual. But it's great to have you here, and congratulations to be up so early. Huh?
Yes, we're coming to the microphone. I just would like to add something. You're here this morning. You will see Solar Impulse taking off with André at the controls. When you leave this base, please remember that clean technologies can achieve the impossible. This is the message. You will see an airplane that flies day and night with no fuel at all, no pollution, no noise. This is the way we would like to see the world as soon as possible, with electrical mobility, with houses that are so well insulated that they almost need no energy from the outside. LED lamps, smart grids, light structures, so they need less energy. And all this is the new market for the future. It's the way to protect the environment, but also to sustain industrial growth and economical development with job creation and profit. It's really a win-win between humankind and the environment. So be our ambassadors. When you leave this place, speak about it. See, we saw an airplane flying electric on solar power, and the entire society can be as clean as that. That's our message, so please be our ambassadors for that after this takeoff. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yeah, they will ask you questions.
That's the dream of your dream, to fly Statue of Liberty. Liberty and freedom from oil and from old devices to have new technologies. Well, the goal is, of course, to demonstrate that we can achieve impossible things with clean technologies. And clean technology today is not only solar power, it's also all the devices for energy saving, like the smart grid, intelligent distribution and storage of energy, electric mobility, well-insulated houses, all these type of things which represent a new market for the future. You know, it's not only about protecting the environment, it is of course, but it's mainly a way to sustain economical growth and job creation and profit for the industry. Because if you replace all the polluting, outdated devices by these new modern technologies, which are clean, it's an incredible development that is possible for the industries who understand it. And there are some, you know, our partners who come from the world of industry and not from the world of aviation, are actually making technologies available for the public, for new industrial processes. So it's a big jump into the future. And in a way, you see this airplane and you think it's science fiction. But in a few years' time, hopefully, the entire society, the entire world will work with this type of technologies. And this is what we want to demonstrate. We are pioneers. We are not just pilots. We work on this project since 14 years. We really would like to contribute as pioneers and explorers to make a cleaner world.
And can you imagine if you have this airplane, you make it unmanned? I tell you, it's a difficult things to say for a pilot, to get rid of the pilot. But imagine having it unmanned, able to fly in the stratosphere, staying in the air for 6 months, and able to do communication works, observation. I mean, a different, more flexible, sustainable alternative than what satellites are offering today. That's also something which can be done pretty shortly from now on.
Can you give us a hint about the next generation of plane?
I think the simplest way to proceed, I mean, if you think about, one next generation, it's to make it unmanned. The limiting factor today is the pilots. The airplane is capable to fly a month. It's clear we are not, maybe a week, but longer alone is difficult. So that's one direction. It's clear also that electric propulsion in airplane will find its place because the efficiency of the motor is 97%. If you take the efficiency of a combustion engine, it's below 50%. So the math, in fact, speak by themselves. So it will come, not for large transport airplane immediately, but aviation industry needs a breakthrough, and it will happen.
I think nobody more than the Americans can understand this process because aviation started in the US in 1903 with an airplane that was single-seater, flying slowly, only in good weather, exactly as Solar Impulse. And 66 years later, there were 2 men on the moon and 100 of people flying with airplanes. So you see, we have to open the door, open a new way, have people being passionate about it and going in that direction. And this is what we deeply hope will happen.
How do you physically and psychologically cockpit? I guess 16 hours from Phoenix, a couple days from Hawaii, 5 days from Japan. I mean, that's a long time by yourself in there.
Because you don't think it's long, because you think, I have the opportunity to be in this airplane. It's going to be too short to experience what I want to experience. In fact, if you have the right mindset, you have a completely different feeling, completely different situation. That's what happened also when we were over the ocean.
You think the cockpit is small and maybe not as comfortable as something else. But when you know that outside it is minus 40 Celsius, I tell you, you are very happy inside the cockpit.
Can you make any comparisons to the way Americans think versus the world? I mean, you've been to Europe, you've been to Asia, I mean, sort of in the Middle East. Compare and contrast how Americans stack up to the rest of the world in the way they think about this technology and the whole venture.
It's easy when you come to your country and you propose to bring this airplane and you ask the question if it's feasible. The answer is immediately yes, of course. I mean, there is no other place where you should come. We think about the questions, the how to later, but yes, of course, come here and I mean, bring this airplane. So this type of reaction, you find only in this country.
Maybe it's the time also to thank the FAA and all the airports and air traffic control in America because they are so open to new things like Solar Impulse, and we had such a wonderful welcome by the administration. It's really touching.
You spent a little extra time here in the Bay Area, probably more than you thought you might have. How did you use that time? Can you talk a little bit about some of the meetings with tech companies that you've had and how that might kind of feature their technology as well as yours?
A lot of visitors. That's true. I think that was not the best place to rest from this perspective. But as I mentioned, I think really split into two parts. I mean, families. I mean, the next generation coming, and of course tech companies. Here you have what's new in terms of development. Part of the technology we have, in fact, some of the technology we have come from the era. We used the solar cells from sun power, So what we have been looking is, if we think about the next generation, which kind of collaborations we could develop, which kind of partnership could be established in order to bring next generation of this airplane first at the prototype level, but maybe also in the marketplace.
You know, we speak of other children, but I remember as a child, I was also in a NASA airbase like here. It was in Cape Kennedy, meeting astronauts from the American space program, and it changed my life. I was 12, and I decided to have a life of explorers after having met these people who were so passionate about exploring new dimensions. And being here in the NASA base again with Solar Impulse shows me all the way since my childhood. And when I see children who are 12 years old who come to visit Solar Impulse, I think, wow, this is something that maybe can inspire them. This is something that can give them the courage and the perseverance to fulfill their dreams. Because dreams can be fulfilled. Of course, it's a lot of work. It doesn't happen as fast as we want. Sometimes there are some setbacks, but this is the world of exploration. And it's a world that is so rewarding. Because once you enter into this dimension of the unknown, and you try something new that has never been achieved, and you try to accomplish the impossible, you need to be creative, you need to be performant. And that's the human dimension of exploration. And it's not so much what you discover that is important, it's your state of mind. And it's a state of mind that I hope that more people will have, because in this world we have a lot of challenges. It's also about poverty, it's about human rights, it's about medical research, it's about better governance on this planet. Of course, it's about sustainable development. And this needs new solutions, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing. This is why explorers have also to be in the world of politics, they have to be in the world of industry, they have to be in civil society. And this is also part of the message that we carry with Solar Impulse.
Last question, please.
And we fly today over also iconic places, which reminds us of what has been done specifically in this part of the world. Mojave Desert, so many airplanes, so many exploratory projects were developed. Bertrand developed all these different crazy new ideas and the new type of airplanes. A few years before, Charles Lindbergh made his build this airplane. It was next to San Diego, and I'll be flying maybe a bit inland, but a beam San Diego. And of course, he started to fly from the west coast to the east coast before crossing the Atlantic. So everywhere I think we'll fly, or everywhere that we'll fly over your country, will remind us of all the work which has been done by these pioneers. But I think we have to we have to proceed. So we'll do the boarding. You'll be able to follow what we do. But wish you all the best here in the valley, and looking forward to come back. You can follow us on solarimpulse.com. Don't forget, we'll broadcast. We are broadcasting live already during the entire flight from the cockpit, from the control center in Monaco, who is piloting, in fact, this mission. I pilot the aircraft, they pilot the mission, and up to the landing. So it was great to see all of you this morning. Thank you for coming.
Good flight, André. Enjoy.
We will.
Enjoy it.
No, we met. When did we meet? Was last October? Yeah, it was last October.
We had a little talk, and I sat in the back of the audience. It was super. Anyway, so we'll have to figure out where
so
you are.
have a safe flight as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm probably more important to the project than you, because I've got all your important people.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying there.
Have you met He's a very good friend of ours. The first person who supported us.
Wow, that's fantastic. You must be so proud.
Eric Salin, you know Eric Salin? I think. It's very, very sensitive to turbulence. There's a big inertia.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Do you have a lot of adverse law?
A lot of adverse yaw,
Yeah.
so you need to put a lot of foot. But it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, I bet it's so creative to fly.
It's so impressive.
And but
T'arrives à me trouver une casquette.
Une casquette.
Parce que j'ai vraiment froid.
Ok.
Et avec le peu de cheveux.
Anyway, what a beautiful thing to fly.
Non, mais attends, je veux pas prendre la casquette d'Anna. Je meurs de froid. Ah ouais? Toi, ça va? T'as plus de cheveux que moi? Écoute, volontiers, ce serait super. Avec du miel, sympa.
Yeah, I can't believe this is an ocean going vessel, you know, that it would fly across the oceans.
5 days to Hawaii, 3 days from Hawaii to here.
That is amazing. It's totally amazing.
It's always magic to see it taking off.
You know, it's funny how few flights, because of the distances that they travel, few flights that actually do ground to go around.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's just, my plane, I have to stop 5 times. I'm kidding. Get across the ocean.
Which citation is it?
It's a 5-6. Pretty small compared to this.
Yeah, but it's fast.
Yeah. We'll pass it. We'll pass it at some point. Be interesting.
Yes.
Where?
Yeah, it would be fantastic.
We'll have to figure out where. Probably. Let's see. Are you going continental? What altitude are you at?
That moment, I think flight level 190 or 221.
Really? Oh, that's high.
No, yeah, 210.
210. That's fantastic. Well, we won't be that much higher. Will it be at?
It's Solar Post Television. Solar Post TV. You know this man? Alan Eustace. He jumped from the stratosphere. He jumped from 40 kilometers high. You all remember Felix Baumgartner, 37 kilometers high. Alan, a few months later, jumped from 40 kilometers. You had that dream and you did it.
That's exactly it. Well, you've had several dreams that have come true.
Yes, this is why I like to see you each time.
Okay,
Yes?
we'll see.
Okay, Alan is boarding. André is boarding.
moteur mobile, ça reste chaud. Oui, c'est chaud. C'est ce petit vent tous les soirs. On met des deux vestes. Ah ouais. Passe dans celui-là, parce que sinon t'as pas fait mal. En bas, c'est plus important. Voilà, ils sont là. C'est bien. Les vols sont comme d'habitude. Ouais. Tu sais que j'ai dû aller le rechercher une fois tout en haut pendant mon dernier vol. Ouais. La petite brosse à dents est prête. La petite cuillère. Ouais. Tu viens Daniel aussi? Oui. Ça c'est mon nouveau système breveté. Pour le taboulet, pour faire le café, tu mets la tasse dedans et ça tient. C'est décroté. Oui. Oui. Tiens. Donc tu te rappelles, hein, pour aller à gauche, tu manches à gauche, pour aller à droite, tu manches à droite, tu mets du pied, et tu vas. Marche pas.
Jean, t'es bon? Ouais, non, je sais pourquoi, mais... Ouais, mais il veut ressortir, là. D'accord, ok. Come back, let's go back. Là. If you go there, go here.
Attends un instant que je mute mon micro. Il est muté là.
Là, j'enregistre pas.
Là c'est muté.
J'enregistre pas.
D'accord, ok. Alors.
Is there any news on what they wanted? What they wanted? Any news on what they wanted to happen, right? No. Hold on. think. No, mira, I think what I've got is 15 minutes. I'm sure it is. I think it's 15 minutes, but that's 50 minutes. Nothing's going to happen. Now, so it should, I think. It is really at 4. So, except. Are they going to ask me questions?
No.
Okay.
Where are you? For record. So I record now. Go ahead.
Good morning, San Francisco. Good evening, friends from Europe. Welcome to Solar Impulse TV. Gregory Blatt here from Moffett Airfield. We're 15 minutes away
I can't because I'm not
I'm throwing up, so I'm sorry if I'm a little... Welcome back to Solar Impulse TV, live from the Mission Control Center in Monaco. My name is Kari Lundgren, and it is a pleasure to welcome you back. Well, we're about an hour away from André Borschberg taking off from Moffett Airfield, just southeast of San Francisco, and he will be flying to Phoenix today, Phoenix Goodyear Airport. It will be about a 17-hour flight, and he was looking very excited and ready to go. He is now in the cockpit. And the door, if I'm not much mistaken, has been closed. We've got a good crew of people there at Moffett Airfield, very excited to see this takeoff, which will be the first takeoff for the crossing of the United States. I think I should be able to chat with one of our managing directors for marketing. This is Greg Blatt. You can always catch Greg because he's got a great hat. Hello, Greg.
How you doing, Carrie? Hi, guys.
So can you tell me, what's the atmosphere like on that end?
How's it going? Oh, it's great. Everybody is super pumped up. You know, being in Moffett is absolutely wonderful because it was 3 years ago to this day that we started the Across America. And we're doing exactly the same flight, not the same airport because we're landing in a different airport in Phoenix. So we're all having a little bit of nostalgia here, a little bit of great feelings. And it was really also 3 years ago where Solar Impulse was introduced to Silicon Valley and companies like Google got involved. And here again now, this week, we had tons of companies, tons of people coming to visit us. And it's, again, sharing that spirit of innovation, pioneering spirit, thinking out of the box. I'm meeting a lot of companies, exchanging a lot of ideas, thinking about the what next. And it really gave a great dynamic element to the team. And we visited lots of companies as well. So, you know, sort of serendipitous that we ended up here, but, you know, things happen because of a reason. And, yeah, we had a great week, and but, you know, we want to continue. And the objective is to make it to New York and then cross the ocean and back to Abu Dhabi.
Well, tell me, I mean, just tell me a little bit more about that week. It sounds fantastic. What's been the highlight for you in terms of who you've met and what you've been doing?
Well, we met, as you all know, we had some really incredible people that joined us for the landing, including Sergey Brin and Larry Page, and you know, from our Google sponsors and other interesting people. And you know, all week different companies were bringing you know, employees. I think we had one day we had about 200 people from Google X. So Google X is all about the sort of Google's future projects in aerospace and automotive, in robotics. So a lot of interaction, and just you know, the technological development around here has just been absolutely fascinating, and you know, just learning so much and exchanging so many ideas. And yeah, the people are interested in our project, and we're interested in their project. So it's a great reason to get together.
Well, it was beautiful. We had beautiful pictures coming in over the Golden Gate Bridge, so it's hard not to get excited when you see such great images. Tell me, what's going on behind you? What's happening on the ground there?
Andre's doing his final checks in the cockpit, as you can see behind me. The ground crew is just hooking up the trolley to move the airplane, and in a couple minutes we're going to move it along the taxiway for positioning for takeoff at 5 o'clock local, as planned and as expected.
And tell us a little bit, as you said, different airport in Phoenix, but are you excited to be going back to Phoenix as a city and as a destination?
It is a different airport, but it's actually managed by Phoenix Sky Harbor, so same people we were dealing with. So that's been great to see some old friends and things like that. Yeah, Phoenix is great. Arizona, let's remember, Arizona is one of the most populated states in terms of solar energy, in terms of households and industry, so that resonates well with our message. So we're quite happy, you know, to be going back to a state which is so heavily invested in renewables and clean technologies.
And tell me, Greg, I mean, one of the things you and your team are very focused on is organizing and looking ahead to all these different airports. How much of a challenge is that when crossing the United States? I mean, how many airports have you had to discuss with and chat with and explain Solar Impulse to?
Quite a few. I haven't really counted exactly, but quite a few. Because the idea is to prepare different options, to have different route possibilities, to be able to, you know, deal with weather challenges and get across. So, but one thing is absolutely incredible is every airport that I've been in touch with immediately says yes, and that's just the fantastic welcoming that we've had in the United States. The mentality of, yeah, let's just do it. We say yes, and then we'll find solutions to different problems. And every airport has been so forthcoming, and it's just. Yeah, it's just a real pleasure to be working with such professionals and such committed people.
Excellent, Greg. Well, I think we should probably let you go because you've got some important people to take care of, but we'll probably touch base with you later, maybe in Phoenix.
With great pleasure. My hat goes off to you, our guys in Monaco, and to all our supporters. Keep watching us, keep following us, as we've got one place in the plane, but with lots of places to still fly with us in our heart and in our soul. Take care.
Thanks, Greg. I was Gregory Blatt there. I was sending a nice message to all the team here and all of you watching us on Solar Impulse TV. I think we're going to leave you with some live images now, and we will be back for various things. We're going to do an interview. Actually, the voices in my head are telling me that we've got the best of images from Hawaii to Moffett Airfield. So I will let you watch those now.
So this is the oceanic flights toward the west coast. We do as we know.
I had a crazy dream that you accepted to share with me. And I'm extremely thankful because it's not obvious that something so crazy can motivate so many people. And having a plane like that, I know what I owe you, André.
I think you realize that you have a fantastic team behind you. You also have an airplane, I'm sure, which will not let you down. You will partner with him to get to your destination. One big challenge for you, which is going to be difficult, I'm sure, for you to decide to come down. But everybody is waiting for you on the other side, and everybody is wishing you a fantastic moment. The wind has been picking up a little bit more than what we have forecasted. So for the time being, we will wait a little bit in the hangar as the airplane is better protected, and we'll see is the wind slowing down, increasing, and we'll decide afterwards when to go out, how to go out, and potentially if we go out. I would say last moment to go out is fine. What I propose is that we will monitor the wind the next 15 minutes, and then we'll decide after the 15 minutes we go or we don't go.
Ouais, very good. Merci André. À toutes.
I'm here now on the wind station, and it's between 6 and 8 since at least 5 minutes. Nothing more than 8 knots. I think we should go out. Okay.
Departure at old risk, runway 04, right.
Solar Pulse. Hello, Captain Piccard. Where are you now flying?
I speak to you from the cockpit of Solar Impulse in the middle of the Pacific, flying on solar power, only, no fuel. You know, Mr. Secretary General, what you are doing today in New York, signing the Paris Climate Agreement, is more than protecting the environment. It is the launch of the clean technology revolution. But there is so much resistance everywhere. So be pioneers, be adventurers, be explorers of the solutions of today. This is how we can make a better world. Don't let the resistance take over, because we have the solutions. And if an airplane can come, like Solar Impulse, can fly day and night without fuel, the world, of course, can be much cleaner.
I am inspired by your pioneering spirit, and while you are making history, we have also made the history today. More than 175 countries signed the climate change agreement, and I'm thank you for your leadership and inspiration. And I thank you very much. All the best to you. Bon voyage.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General, and congratulations for what you are doing. The world will remember it. You are a pioneer also.
Good afternoon, Bertrand. It is an honor for Switzerland that we have you as a pioneer, and the entire world is looking at you and your fantastic project. And it gives us a lot of hope that something is possible. Clean technologies are the future. And I think it's the most inspiring project since the flight to the moon, but with solar energy, renewable energy, with a lot of efficiency. That's what we need, the proof it is possible to make a change. So have a safe flight back to Europe, to your home country, Switzerland. We are proud of you.
Thank you, Doris. Thank you. And you know, they were astronauts going to the moon, and today they are heads of states making a better world. This is the message. Better quality of life. This is the new adventure of the 21st century. Congratulations for what you're doing, and good luck.
Some great images there of Solar Impulse 2 and Bertrand Piccard as they were crossing from Hawaii to Moffett Airfield, which is where I will bring you back to now. As you can see, Solar Impulse 2 and André Borschberg, the other pilot in the Solar Impulse project, they are now taxiing towards the runway. You are probably wondering why there are so many people on the ground. That is because Solar Impulse needs people to pull it, and actually also people at the 4 different points to make sure that the airplane is protected, and two people on each of the handling masts, because the wingspan is bigger than that of a 747. So an incredible wingspan, so you need people keeping it balanced on either side. Again, just a reminder, today we are flying from Moffett Airfield, which is just southeast of San Francisco in Mountain View, California, the heart of Silicon Valley. We will be flying to Phoenix Goodyear Airport. It will take about 17 hours, and the pilot is André Borschberg.
It would be good to speak to André, I think, in a few seconds.
C'est quoi? Ces vélos sont ils sont fantastiques.
Are you bit sad to go, Bertrand?
Did you? Well,
Are you bit sad to go?
Memories? Leaving some memories behind?
Yes.
Oh, hang on
But
a
you
sec.
know, last year it was funny because last year I just wanted to go as fast as we could, and I
Hang on, can you just turn this light on right there for me? That would be great.
Last year we had so much delay everywhere, we just wanted to go and move. And this year we're always a little bit more sad than last year to leave the places we've been. Hawaii it was moving to leave, and here in Silicon Valley also. So it's a good sign.
What's the memory you're going to leave behind, do you think? What are you going to remember 10 years from now from this stop?
From this start?
From this stop here in San Francisco. What's the memory that's going to stick with you?
The Golden Gate, these 2 hours, 3 hours above the Golden Gate, with André flying the helicopter around me, and this iconic place, the Bay of San Francisco, where I was flying with Solar Impulse after the 3-day flight from Hawaii. That was, for me, a wonderful moment. I still have the pictures in front of my eyes. And from this start, I will remember the control tower of Moffett with the big NASA logo. You know, NASA, that was the changing moment in my life when I was in Cape Kennedy as a child. We American astronauts watched Apollo 7 to Apollo 12 taking off. And here to be on that base, it's a little sign of the past. Really nice. When you are when you are in the cockpit for a start, everything goes very fast. When you're on the ground, it's very long. But when you have to do all the checks, you don't have a lot of time. But now you know we're just hoping to go as soon as we can. When the airplane is in the air, it's not an airplane that is happy on the ground. It's a little clumsy on the ground. Handling. It belongs to the sky. Hope it can go soon.
Hi everyone.
We advise direct speed to land up in Hawaii. Okay.
Question.
It's not clear yet. He didn't say this. Yeah.
Welcome back to Solar Impulse TV. I'm here with one of our mission engineers, Andreas, who is going to tell me a little bit about what's going on the ground here, maybe, and also answer some of your questions. So actually, maybe Andreas, right off the bat, what point are we at in terms of the takeoff process?
We are on taxi, so
I need a mic. Whoops. There we go. Sorry about that.
Right now, we taxi to the runway, so we prepare for takeoff at 12 Zulu. André is already in the cockpit, and he's preparing the oxygen system. He's doing checks on the oxygen system as before every takeoff. And the team also here in MCC is getting ready, trying to prepare and aim for a takeoff at 12 Zulu. So basically it's now a long taxi because it's quite a distance, so you have to account for a taxi of approximately 40 minutes to the runway, and then final checks just before takeoff.
Because the taxi can take anywhere between 40 minutes or even a couple of hours, depending on how big the airport is, can't it? Right?
Exactly. As you can see, a lot of people are involved in the taxi process. You have to secure the aircraft. You have people left and right of the wing supporting the aircraft. And here you can see André doing his oxygen preparation, oxygen checks. Yeah, as you can see, here's testing the mask. The system is redundant, so we have several systems to test.
And actually, we've got a chance to speak to André now. I'm not sure if he's too busy with his checks. André, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear loud and clear.
Excellent. Well, Prasad Veru wants to know about how you are feeling right now. And yeah, how are you feeling right now?
I feel very focused. You know, this morning we had the preparation, and there was a lot of people who came to see us see the airplane. So I think it was nice to have last discussions with everyone. And after boarding the airplane, I get in my bubble, in my environment, and starting to do all the testing. So it's the first step to be really in the airplane. The next step will be when we close the door. Then, you know, when the door is closed, you are really inside it. Even before takeoff, you're already in flight.
And Steve LeMay, he wants to know what's the flight plan for today, and how long will it take, and how many kilometers will you fly?
So we'll leave at 5 local time, which is something like 12 universal time, a Greenwich time, a UTC. And I'll be heading northwest just for takeoff because we have a slight wind from there, and flying over the bay in San Francisco for a short while, climbing, so that I'm cleared afterwards to proceed towards my first waypoint, and then slowly with with the direction southeast, going over the country and the Sierra Nevada to Phoenix, but avoiding also the different restricted areas because there are many test range, there are many places which are kept for military training, so we have to slalom a little bit in between, but this is coordinated with ETC, and I'll be climbing to 22,000 feet because we have altitude restriction also because of the traffic of Los Angeles. So it's really an optimized flight, and our ATC guys have spent quite a long time with the FAA to try to find the best routes, the best altitude to avoid, and to try to annoy and bother as not too many people also flying around.
And we have a rather fun question from Brady Dyer, and he wants to know, does it still blow your mind at what you're achieving and how this is being beamed instantly around the world?
You know, that's something we started 13 years ago, so it's a very long process. Now we really build up step by step. There has been a lot of learning since 5 years during the different flights. So, in fact, you don't do something like this right away. It's a teamwork, and there's a huge team which is behind. I'm sure people see you guys in Monaco, the MCC. This team at the MCC is my view in the future, and basically my co-pilot, which looks ahead, far away, to see what the best flight plan will be. So without this team, it's impossible to do it. So that's what makes it feasible. That's what makes it possible to discover this type of flying.
And Antoine Jacquette, he wants to know if you are currently taxiing.
We pushed the aircraft on the runway. I am on the runway already, and we are doing the final preparation. It should be ready to go in 35 minutes. But I will have to continue very soon by checking to be online. So maybe one last question, Kerry, and then I have to focus again on inside the cockpit.
Excellent. One last question, which is from Maria Bianca in Nevada, and she wants to know, what's the greatest challenge during the flight?
Each flight is different. Today, in fact, we fly over a desert, over some high mountains. It's very warm, and all this heat creates turbulence, which disturb the atmosphere and makes it very turbulent. So we have to make sure that we get high enough above this turbulence to keep the flight safe. So I think that's the challenge today. But we have good weather. It's not too long flight. I think it's extremely well prepared, extremely well coordinated. So important is for everyone to stay concentrated and hopefully it will develop like we thought it should be. But when you do this type of flights, there's always a little part of discovery, and you have to be prepared that a little bit for the unknown. You have to be prepared that you have to change your plan. So it needs preparation, but it also needs a lot of flexibility.
Well, thank you very much, Andre. We will let you get back to the hard work you're doing in the cockpit. We appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you to you. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Huh?
Excellent. And there's a question from Christian Kerrigan, which I think it's about how is your family dealing with this, and so we'll definitely ask Andre that later. But I should mention his wife is actually in the Monaco Mission Control Center currently, and he is actually a new grandfather of a granddaughter, Lily, and there's a little cow traveling in the cockpit with him as sort of a symbolic Lily. So anyway, I have Andreas, who's one of our mission engineers here, and he wants to know, see, these are some good questions, which is, this is from Peter Lafford, and he wants to know, are we going to use the portable hangar in Phoenix?
In Phoenix, we will have a tent, so we don't have to use the mobile hangar. But for the next destinations, depending on where we go, we might have to use the mobile hangar again. But the mobile hangar is always a big task to handle, so we are happy if we can use a tent as we have it in Phoenix if we land in Goodyear, which is the plan for now.
Makes things a bit easier. And actually, this is another good question for you, because you've been very involved in the planning for this flight. This is from Noyuki Sasanami. I apologize, I'm mispronouncing that. Any restrictions to avoid commercial aviation?
Well, of course, we always have to let's say, respect the local air traffic as well. And we are working closely together with the local ATC there.
Which is air traffic control.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Our team here, also ATC specialists, they are in contact with the local ATC, and they coordinate together how we can handle our flight, and we adopt as much as possible, we adapt our profile to the needs, also according to the local air traffic. Mm-hmm. But of course, we have other restrictions which we have to consider, like weather. And here we work very close together with the meteorologist, of course.
And actually, this is another good question for you, which is, when are we expected? This is from Sarmad Khalil, and he wants to know, when are we expected to reach Phoenix?
We will reach Phoenix around 4 to 6 Zulu, so UTC. Depending on the wind, we will aim for a landing earliest at around 4 Zulu. Let's see if the wind allows, because it might be that we have to wait until the wind calms down on the runway, and then we land maybe a bit later at 6 Zulu. This we will have to see during the flight, and we will adopt our profile according to the landing time.
And actually, I asked you this, I was asking about what's happening on the runway there, but actually you're almost more familiar with everything that's going on here in the Mission Control Center. So tell me a little bit, what is the whole team here doing?
Well, we have here the front room, which is in direct contact with the pilot. You have the Capcom who's speaking to the pilot. You have a mission engineer who's taking care about tasks which are related to energy and also navigation, and make sure that the flight is executed according to plan, and is supporting the Capcom in his duties. Then you have the flight director and also the mission director, who are the head of the flight, and also engineers who monitor closely all the systems like batteries, like engines, or the oxygen system, as well as the automatic pilot, which is a stability augmentation system. And this is watched in the front room and monitored in the front room. But then you also have a back room. The back room is, let's say, monitoring the near future and tries to keep track on what comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Here you have meteorologists, you have the ATC specialists, so the air traffic controller specialists, you have mission engineers.
So they're already thinking about what happens after Phoenix then?
Not only what happens after Phoenix, but also what happens in the next hours of the flight.
Yeah.
So to make sure that the weather stays the same. As you know, we have a long flight time. We have here approximately 16 to, let's say, 18 hours of flight time.
Here we go. Here is the MCC, which is behind the studio here.
Yeah, so you can see Christoph Etter here as the Capcom for the takeoff here.
Capcom is, again, the direct voice for the pilot.
Yeah. Mission engineer Julian. And next to the Capcom, we have our mission director, Raymond.
Who will be on the show later. And then this is a very important lady here.
Yes.
That's Andre's wife, Yasmin.
Yes, exactly. She's today here with us in the MCC.
Yep.
Closely monitoring Andre.
And that's partially because I mentioned it before, but she's actually a new grandmother, so she was actually came back to Europe.
Congratulations.
Yeah, came back to Europe. So she could be with her daughter, who just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Lily. So she seems to be very relaxed. I think the pilots' wives, they call the MCC it's the guardian angels, right? That's I think that's the term they use.
That's the term they use for the mission engineers and the people watching here, the flight and also preparing. So actually the whole planning team, takes care. Yeah. So we have a lot of people here working and are involved in flight preparation and also flight execution.
And this is Damien. He's actually an expert. He's new to the MCC for this. At least I haven't seen him yet, but he's been more in charge of what's going on the ground.
Yes. He is head of logistics, so he's
very important job.
Very important, especially if you talk about mobile hangar, transporting the mobile hangar from A to B is a big task. And then also managing all the stuff which you need for supporting this flight needs to be transported from one airport to the next.
And actually, I think we've got Bertrand Piccard. He's in California, ready to chat with us. Bertrand, can you hear me?
I take this away. J'ai encore les flight controls.
Ah, there is Bertrand. But unfortunately, I can't hear you. Maybe somebody will sort that out.
I hear you very well.
Oh, excellent. I hear you.
Do you hear me, Carrie?
I do now. So Bertrand, tell me, how are you feeling to see Andre getting ready to take off 3 years to the day since you did it across America? What are you feeling right now?
Well, it's a great moment again. Huh? Exactly 3 years ago, I was taking off from here to start the Across America mission. And now it's André's turn to make the flight to Phoenix. It's a beautiful flight. It's a beautiful flight because you go from the very green region of San Francisco progressively to the desert. And it's drier and drier. The colors change. And you are east of Los Angeles, really in the Mojave Desert. And this is where you have Edwards Air Force Base. For all the people who have seen the film The Right Stuff, L'étoffe des héros, that's the place where Chuck Yeager broke the speed of sound, where Dick Rutan started for his round-the-world flight in his Voyager airplane, where Virgin Galactic was making the first flight. So all this is an iconic place for aviation and for test pilots. And last time I was flying just a beam, and all these memories of the right stuff coming back. So for André, who is a jet fighter pilot, of course, it's going to be a really nice moment. And then you have the sunset before arriving to Phoenix, sunset on the desert. I remember that was absolutely great. The underwing of Solar Impulse 1 was completely red with a sunset. No, it's a really beautiful flight. I'm happy André can do it.
And tell me, you've had a very busy week in the Bay Area. What have you been doing this whole past week?
There has been a lot of visits, friends, public, but also big company leaders from Silicon Valley. So it was nice to show them what we are doing, to meet them or to see them again. You know, I knew Larry Page and Sergey Brin since more than 10 years. I met them at the World Economic Forum in Davos when Solar Impulse was only a drawing on a paper. And they were really impressed to see what it has become.
I've got some questions for you from people watching the show, and Niccolo Soldati, and he wants to know what kind of navigation system is used during the flight.
Yes, you have several GPS. So basically you have a flight plan on your GPS with all the waypoints, and you have the lines going from a point to another. So when you fly, you try to keep the silhouette of your airplane on the track. So you fly with your GPS, which is currently the most precise way to do. 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you would have to navigate with a compass, follow the direction, which is much less precise. And it's clear that the navigation by satellite is now fantastic. And the Mission Control Center in Monaco is giving a lot of advice to the pilots about the flight profile, when to climb, where to descend, which energy setting to put. So it's a teamwork between the pilot and Monaco.
And Keith Buckley, he wants to know, how far can Solar Impulse fly non-stop?
You know, in theory, you can fly forever. So it's very slow, but you never refuel. You get the sun during the day to charge the batteries while you're flying. Then you fly at night on the batteries. You continue the following day. So theoretically, you could do it non-stop around the world. Now, of course, the pilots would be too tired. So we changed the pilots. And also there are some weather systems that would block the plane, because when you have a front, tornado or thunderstorms or just bad weather, you cannot continue. So this is also a reason to stop. Now, if we could fly higher, then we would be above the weather and we could go non-stop around the world.
And actually, this is a follow-up question on that same subject from Catherine Iseline, and she wants to know, will in the future a robot be able to fly Solar Impulse?
In the future, you will be able to have a remote control and have Solar Impulse flying maybe 20 kilometers high for several months in a row to replace satellites and do the Wi-Fi, telecommunication, GSM, infrared pictures for agriculture and things like that. So this is probably the way to go. But now, you know, it's the human adventure. It's not yet the industrial stage. And human adventure, that's a pilot, that's a team, that's all what is happening now with MCC, with the public following. And then it will probably become more automatized and with robots or remote control. But this will be the industry stage and not anymore the pioneering stage.
And here's another question, which is a little bit more about
behind me, you
yes.
have the run-up. That's interesting for you, Kerry. You have what we call the run-up. And you need to run the motors before departure at full power to be sure that all the pieces, all the elements of the engine are working well. So now it's the inboard engines. You have to compare the power of the engine, the rotation per minute. Then it will be the outboard engines. And first you run them independently because you have a system that can couple the engines, and you need to be sure that in normal situation the engines are decoupled.
And tell me, Bertrand,
But for the specialist, it's really interesting to know that there are a lot of what we call fail-safe systems. It means that if the throttle box has a problem, the handles to control the engines has a problem, you can run both engines with the same handle. So now André is testing the engine alone, then he will test the engine number 4 alone.
And actually, Bertrand, this is also something, the run-up is something you do on a commercial aircraft as well, right?
You do a run-up like this on propeller airplanes, if you have a... But you don't really do a run-up on a...
That's an amazing sound. Bertrand, it sounds like you're coughing a little bit. You have to take care of yourself because you're going to be doing the next leg, aren't you?
Yes, I know. You know, I really can see the truth of what Mark Twain was saying. Mark Twain was saying the coldest winter I had in my life was a summer in San Francisco. And I tell you, it's true.
That's very true. I definitely appreciate that. I've also experienced
No, I know
that.
I'm coughing a little bit. I have to... No, I'm coughing a bit. I have to heal myself before the next flight, that's for sure. But you know, the air at high altitude is very healthy.
And tell me, what do you...
Okay, so we're going to close the door. I just want to say goodbye to André now. You want to come closer? I want goodbye to André.
On se console?
Ouais.
Allez, ciao.
Ciao.
À tout à l'heure. Hein.
Allez, ciao.
Ouais, il est là.
Ciao.
Drive carefully, drive slowly, no fixing up the breakers, right?
Thank you.
Come on, everybody, position, please. Mark on, come on. Come on, group, come on.
I can't, Mira, it's maximum.
Cockpit door is closed and locked. Seatbelt secured. Telemetry we'll see, air brakes retracted and locked. Elevator trim I set to, we set to -3. Okay. Wheel chocks confirm removed. Thank you. Okay, that's great. Thanks a lot. And the chocks removed. Thank you. See you on the other side. So wheel chocks has been removed. Gas spring and V-shape has been checked. Undamaged. Okay, shall we go to some kind of a takeoff briefing?
Yeah, just 2-3 points I didn't put. Cockpit instruments are set confirmed. I saw there was a broken.
L'ATC, vous êtes prêts si jamais?
Yes, cockpit instruments are checked.
Okay, and cell phone on hot mic.
And start phone on hot mic, yes?
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so let's maybe talk about the briefing of takeoff. So, seems to be broken, you said, at 1,000 feet?
They firm according to him between 1,000 and 1,500. Above is clear.
Okay, so we'll try to find a hole, in fact, to climb, which may not be entirely in the box. Is this a problem or not?
No, I don't think so. From the terrain is no problem.
Hello?
There is no problem. So I maybe a bit on the airport, a bit on the bay.
Hello?
And we'll climb according to weather situation now.
Maybe you have to coordinate this with the tower, but from the terrain point of view is no problem if you proceed straight ahead just to go slow, slightly through the clouds.
Can we just recheck the iridium with...
So takeoff, briefing for me takeoff is straight ahead, and I climb to 500 feet, and then I'll make a slight turn to the right to the first peak, which corresponds to the box area, and we climb there to 3,000 feet. I will find the hole to be able to climb. I will keep landing gear down and then dive above the clouds in stable conditions, and then we'll bring the gear up.
Okay.
So speed will be between 28 and 30 knots during this climb phase. Power 5 minutes 13, and then we'll reduce to 11 kilowatts for the climb above the clouds.
Okay, checked.
So just got from Stefan, it's broken to the north, but further up, it's clear. He sees the stars.
You mean further to the north?
Do you want to wait for the hour to take off, or shall we proceed?
When we are ready, we go.
We will proceed.
But still, I would like to debug the telemetry if possible.
Okay.
And the information further to the north, it seems to be clear, the weather, so the broken clouds are just in front of you, and later on must be.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, if you recycle it now.
Okay. So it means that you would prefer I stay below and then climb further to the north, or we stay in the box?
1 second. Yeah, maybe the weather is better here. He asked if he stay in the box or I would say he goes through. What do you mean? 500 feet.
500, yes.
Yeah, André, it's only 500 feet. I suggest you keep the runway heading and go through the clouds.
Okay, keep the runway heading, climb through the clouds, and then proceed back to the box for further climb 3,000 feet.
Stay firm. And in case of quick return, I don't know what is your idea. Maybe you see better from above where you find some holes to go down.
Yes, no problem. We'll do that. Okay, continue with the checklist. Beacon and put it on. Nav light is required. We'll put all the lights on for takeoff. And I will, if you let me know when you are ready to proceed, so that I can ask Ian through the tower.
Hey firm, I will tell you, the only point which is remaining later on is a transponder set to halt. And also, in case of quick return, it would be via a right-hand pattern.
Yes, that's understood. And would you have already the next frequency, ATC-wise, radar frequency or not?
1 second. So the tower and the next is NorCal. So you will be on tower 11955 and later on call NorCal departure, which is 121.3.
121, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
I suggest by Michael to do this cloud and rain flying if we go through the cloud. So we would have
Oui.
people heat on.
Okay, so let me know when we are ready.
Okay, so yeah. So solar media.
Restriction, Peter, it on and ground with high temperature.
I would switch it on after takeoff.
After takeoff.
To check this. I think
Okay.
the temperature is okay.
Just a second.
Just read to him these items you should look at.
This we do anyway during the takeoff. Huh? Yeah. No configuration change, so here we do it gear down.
Yeah.
And just pitot heat on.
Yeah. And tell him that he does the airspeed check early.
Yep.
Then it's fine.
Andrea, I have one additional remark.
Un instant.
Yes.
If you have to fly through the clouds, this is a cloud and rain flying procedure. It's not much, just to check and compare the speeds quite early, so it's done. And then aircraft configuration we do not change, and later on, before entering the clouds, the pitot heat on.
Okay.
The temperature is fine, plus 15 degrees. Yes.
Okay, we'll put the pitot heat at takeoff directly so we don't forget.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Same
solar
time with,
media is
the
ready.
transponder is fine, yeah.
Solar ground.
It's a good idea.
Solar ground is ready. Catching crew in position.
Yes.
So I'm in Moffett for the Iridium. Should we retard and try a Iridium voice call
So
for troubleshooting?
you speak from because the telemetry is also not working.
The main telemetry is working. The backup telemetry seems not to work.
Yeah.
So I would do an Iridium call just on his portable Iridium to see if Iridium works at all.
Moffett Tower from Moffett Bravo, Sierra Bravo. You ready? A couple of minutes. Would you have a transponder code already?
Just we should inform him before.
Moment he's speaking with the town.
Yes, that's yeah, Bravo. Would you have already your transponder code? We'll be ready to go in a couple of.
Bravo to India, Bravo, Roger. Do you have your flight plan? Are you ready to copy?
Yes, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Bravo here, India, Bravo, to the Goodyear Airport. At departure, turn right, heading 090. Radar vectors Wadba as filed. Maintain 3000. Expect flight level 220, 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 121.3. Squawk 3265.
Sierra Bravo, please go 3265, and the next frequency will be 121.3 for Loco, and we are pleased to proceed and climb to 3,000 feet initially, after proceeding the right turn to 090, and we can even 220 later.
On absolument pas
What's up, Bravo Sierra, India Bravo, recycle Craig, just let me know when you guys are ready and I'll coordinate for a release with Mojave.
Cannot turn
We call you back, Bravo.
Maybe it's, yeah.
André, I copy everything, but yeah, let's see what they mean with radar vectoring on 090 heading.
Yeah, exactly.
Initially, we really have to stay in the box until 3000.
Yeah.
But there is like.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it was all around with ATC already.
So I continue with the final readiness.
And let me know when you are ready, guys.
Will do.
Okay,
So you want to do this check or not? Iridium call? Okay. André, we still don't have telemetry on Iridium, and we would like to call you on the Iridium phone to make a check.
Telemetry Iridium. Ah, okay.
Yeah, just a second. I put it on. I put it on again because I waited too long and I forgot afterwards. So just a second, and we'll check it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Did you copy?
Yeah. Okay, so we go for SAT. We go. Okay, solar safety. What about solar safety, please? Okay, solar safety is ready. Wind 320, 3 knots. Je peux juste prendre? Solar impulse, are you ready?
Solar impulse, I'm ready, yes.
Confirm solar impulse ready.
He's speaking with
Solar impulse is ready.
Roger. Okay. So, solar impulse, you are released to proceed, continue with tower for clearance. Have a nice flight.
Thank you, okay to proceed. Donc, Goodyear. Vraiment.
Ouais, je t'écoute. On va y aller, hein.
Moffett Tower from Hotel India Bravo will be ready for departure.
What's up, Bravo Sierra, India Bravo, my star, continue holding. Information Zulu is now current, altimeter 2999.
2999 will be altimeter and confirm hold.
What's up, Bravo Sierra, India Bravo, affirmative, continue holding. I'll coordinate with the motel, I'll get back to you shortly.
We'll hold those and Sierra Bravo.
Holding, huh?
He has to hold ATC.
Yeah.
Shortly, he said. Yeah, we change it right now. On the first try.
So, like for the radar vectoring, they have us vectors. We open the way when we are safe, so we could, if they do this 090 in the box, or like just north of the airport, according to.
Did you speak about terrain there? Or?
I speak about terrain.
Okay.
This is like all terrain with an elevation of 4 feet. So
okay.
It should be fine.
But I heard, what I understood is turn right 090, then radar vectors to departure, so further right down to the south, something like this, and this is absolutely not planned this way, so let's see what happens.
Okay. What I understood is that departure frequency, like north-call departure, will give radar vectors, but you will
What's up, Bravo Sierra, India Bravo, were you planning to depart straight out or make a right turn to 090?
Straight out.
I would like to have a straight out climb initially to 3,000 feet and then proceed as planned, which is from my side not 090 but to the next waypoint, which is Batra.
What's up, Bravo Sierra, Bravo Roger, I'll plan for runway heading and I'll get right back to you. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Sierra India Bravo, roger. Amend your instructions after departure, fly runway heading 3000 and runway 32 left, intersection Bravo. Good call, good takeoff.
Please takeoff 32 left, Hotel Sierra Bravo will maintain runway heading and time initially to 3000.
Ok, là, la clearance pour décoller.
Okay, let's check transponder and PTO.
That's done. And PTO. Now we'll make the promotion line. And landing line. Okay. Going.
C'est rond 3, Joshua.
Check on instruments. Speed. Increase.
There you go, Ron. There you go.
Yes.
So speed check 30, 30, 29, 29. Beacon off because it takes too much.
Hotel Bravo, Sierra India Bravo, enable contact departure 121.3, have a great flight.
121.3 Hotel Sierra Bravo. Many thanks for the hospitality and the welcome. It was great to be here. All the best to you.
Absolutely,
Ok, Stéphane, à tout à l'heure, je te rappelle dans quelques minutes.
Local from Hotel Bravo, Sierra India Bravo. Good morning.
Hotel Bravo, Sierra India Bravo, and all set up anything else, please.
Hotel Bravo passing 400 feet, I'm initially to 3000 on the runway heading.
No problem. Rock there, runway heading, basically climb to 3000 before you go out to Wassa. Is that what you're
3000 and 215, we do currently just the 2 out of 5.
Okay. Initially 3000 runway heading still.
3000.
Departure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reducing 11.
cross from the left. André, just be ready to switch on IFR rules if necessary.
Say again?
Just be ready to switch on IFR if needed.
That's copy.
Quick return below will be okay with 900 feet.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
encore.
But when above, maybe it's more difficult.
Slightly in cloud.
Yeah, now it's cloud. Enter clouds.
In cloud.
That's checked. Temperature is fine.
André Borschberg there, taking off from Moffett Airfield in the heart of Silicon Valley and on his way to Phoenix. It will be about a 16-hour flight, and he is looking fit after that beautiful takeoff. I wanted to say one quick thing. I think we had one of our questions. Somebody was asking, Kate from San Francisco was asking why there is a meerkat in the cockpit of Solar Impulse 2. And that is actually a meerkat called Nils, and he is to symbolize all the ground crew being in the air with André. So I just wanted to make sure to answer that question. As I said, the destination airport will be Goodyear, Phoenix. That will be in about 16 hours time, but we will definitely be keeping you updated throughout the flight, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to leave you with the highlights from this takeoff.
Jump into the future. And you know, some power.